Welcome to the war room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. Keep it to you how you want it in the 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sorta like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerate to speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
Yo, 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 sports fans, you are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the WRS Podcast Network. I'm Jimmy the Blueprint, and I'm back to back. My man B. Austin, we at the table. No Drake.
The GOAT.
Fresh off a trip to the motherland. My man B. Austin is back. We have a great show for you today, as usual. Tom Brady's ruling is being upheld. Vin Baker is working at the Bucks, man, making like, caramel
toe
grandes, grandes, and much more. So get your popcorn ready. Buckle up and keep it locked. And if you want to get in a live conversation, join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room, which is on blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or join us on Facebook and Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 30 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline. That's 323-410-0012. Before we get started, though, I want you to sit back, relax, because we about to, have some fun. But save this info right here.
All watch this money through the. Oh, my fault.
They don't even know about that, man. They don't know that this is the only sports show that's only built for Cuban links. But listen, though, real quick. When we're not live on the air, we need you to listen to all of the great shows that we have on our network, which is called the War Room Sports Podcast Network, or WRSPN, if you like acronyms like myself. Just visit warroomsports.com and click on the WRS Podcast Network tab, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app. Or you just go to iTunes. That's right, we are on iTunes. And then while you're on iTunes, right, go to our podcast and definitely leave us 5 stars, because that's how, we move up in the charts on iTunes and whatnot. You'll find some of the best sports talk on our podcast network, by the way, such as the Broad Street Line, After Further Review, the Tissue and the Tape, Hip Hop Show. We got Sports Trap Radio and a whole lot more. You can also check the listings at fatsradio.com, and that's PHATZ radio.com, because you can also hear us all over there. For air times of all your shows, just go to fatsradio.com. Listen, man, B. Austin, you back from the motherland. What's good, beloved?
Yo, man, first of all, in the words of my homie, Marshawn Lynch, a.k.a. Beast Mode, I just want to say shout out to all my real Africans, no matter where you land in the diaspora. Yo, man, that was a great trip. Like, it wasn't my first time to that continent, but it was my first time to my wife's country, Ghana. All previous trips to Africa, 2 of them had been to Nigeria. And I'll be quite honest, they were in my youth, and I was so drunk and high, I really don't remember nothing from Nigeria. Man. Like,
so that was your wife's home country you went to.
Yeah. Football is heavy out there. FUTBOL.
So in essence,
football fans.
Mm-hmm. In essence, that wasn't your world tour. That was your girls' tour.
Yeah, but it's mine too.
Speaking of that, man, what's your thoughts on back-to-back, man, and Meek's lack of a response, man?
Yo, first of all, I have to, this is a public service announcement. Like, at some point, like the maturity will wear off, and all these people on social media are going to stop reminding me that I'm from Philadelphia, and what's up with your man, and how, like, yo, he's from a different generation. Like, where I come from, like, you send 1 at me, I send 7 back, and I don't even ask no questions. When the clip run out, I'm reloading and I'm dumping back, and that means literally and figuratively. We'll go with the figurative definition. If somebody's getting at you lyrically, like, you got to grab your pen and pad. You got to get the white bull engineer, the white bull from the suburbs that went to school to be a music engineer, whose Jewish parents is rich, but he loved hip hop purely and dearly. And you got to take him in the studio to work the boards. You get whatever your favorite vices are. You zone in, you tune out, and you write. And you write and you write and you write, and the only time you leave that studio is to get a Dutch master and some of the Yamin and hit the radio station and have them play them cuts, give a quick interview, and then you back in the lab, putting up more. Listen, man, all of the great battles that you can think of going back the last 20 years, all them dudes from Beanie Siegel and Jadakiss to Nas and Jay-Z, the songs you heard, that was only 10% of what they had. They have others in the clip. What's Meek Millie doing? North Philly, what's Meek Millie doing right now?
I got so many opinions about this, and I don't want to take a lot of time with it because we got a lot to get into, and we probably talk about it later.
The boy Drake is strategically, he plays chess.
Yeah, but here's my thing, man.
Bar for bar, I don't think them songs was in. The first one charged up, and it was okay. Back to back was kind of nice, but he don't even gotta go hard. He don't.
But here's my thing, Austin. Listen though, here's the thing. I don't think that Meek thought Drake will respond that way. These new dudes be on something different, man. They get emotional and they head to Twitter and they say whatever's on their mind.
Listen,
but Drake must got a nice old head. Was like, yo, this how we do it. We get in the booth. Old heads get in the booth. Young boys don't do the You know how many rap beef there's been over the last couple years that we haven't heard any songs from?
You got a point. No. Listen, you got a point because the bull Kendrick Lamar, he cut from a 90s cloth. Like, even though he's only 25, he's really like 37. He went and dropped the Control verse and called all of them things out. And all they did was
that wasn't even a diss. Like, Kendrick has been sending Drake subliminals. But they were supposed to come back real quick. He was sending Drake subliminals.
I'm not going to answer. I don't want to battle.
The thing about Drake is Drake is strategic in who he chose to go at me. Pusha T was coming at Drake forever. Pusha T had a line in his song where he accused him of having ghostwriters. Pusha T had a line where he said something like Hove don't pass the crown. What he say? He said Hove don't pass the crown too soon unless you got one for all the writers in the room. That was a shot at Drake, basically calling him a ghostwriter. Drake didn't say diddly because Pusha T would have. Yeah, he don't want to mess with him.
People don't realize how old Pusha T is. Like, they think he's a young
47.
Boy, Pusha T was going to the club on Arch Street with Don Mystic Mac coming up from Virginia back then.
So my thing is, my man is strategic in who he go back to with. But my whole thing is, man, there's been so many rap beefs over the last several years that we've heard no music from because these young boys just get on Twitter and they in
the Twitterverse, man.
But anyway, man,
tight clothes and Twitter.
But outside of that, that's news too. But also, man, this whole Black Lives Matter movement is getting bigger because every time we look up, there's another. I was prepared to talk about Sandra Bland, and now it's like, they done murdered my man.
There's been 5 black women that have been murdered by law enforcement in the last 2 weeks. 5. Black Lives Matter.
What about my man in Ohio who got murked out by a cop, like in his car because he didn't have his license?
That's the usual. They usually don't cross the line, I would hope, and kill our women. But like males, like they kill us every day, B. That ain't nothing.
What's crazy is I was talking to one of my white comrades, and yes, I do have white friends, so I can't be racist for everybody out there. But I was telling him how anytime
you can't be racist because you have white friends.
I can't be racist. I got white friends. But listen though, besides the fact that blacks can't be racist anyway, but that's a whole nother story. But I was telling him how anytime I've ever been pulled over by the police, how nervous I am. He didn't understand me. I'm like, dog, I'm a nerd. I'm not even into nothing dirty. But the fact of the matter is, I'm still like, I'm not of the street, but I'm from the street. So therefore, I still have like a certain level of like angst just when the cops behind me, like, and I don't even do nothing wrong.
Basically, when I get in this talking about my life before the age of 24, I gotta just plead the fifth and just say I have every reason to be afraid of the police because there might have been something in the trunk. But I feel you even now when I'm driving. Like with the kids in the car and the wife and everything, and I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen. Yeah, I'm nervous. I have a protocol. Like I roll all 4 windows down, I pop the trunk, I turn the car off, put the keys on the dash, hold my hands up above the steering wheel so that they can see them, and then I turn this shucking and jiving. Massa, thank you for stopping me. Smile on like I got watermelon and fried chicken in the front seat. ready to go. That's my protocol, because I don't want to die, yo. White cop man, yo, don't shoot me, please. I got a lot to live for. Black Lives Matter, hashtag.
Black lives do matter. And before we jump into what happened while you on the grind, Meek just put out a little message on social media that tonight, and it says, first off, F the 6 and the click you claim. So we get where he's going with the Tupac reference, but also
already biting. Basically, what you're saying is,
I mean, listen, I'm just saying, listen, man. All I want to do is just hear him say something, man. Just fight back, man. That's all.
Don't let that man punch you in the face repeatedly.
We got more people to slander, man. So it's time for us to move on, because there's always somebody doing something reckless in the world of sports, and we always got to get into it, man. Every week it is. So it's time to talk about what happened while you were on the grind this past week. And for those who may have never heard this show before, shame on you. But while you were on the grind, it's brought to you by DirecTV. If you like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, which includes the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website, warroomsports.com. Click on that DirecTV logo and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. In the words of Master P, we got the hookup. And if you call yourself a sports fan, you got to have DirecTV. Brother B. Austin, the first story that I have to talk about is your man, Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal, who doesn't know how to let it go.
He doesn't know how to
still taking shots. Yo, he's still taking shots at Scotty on every outlet, any interview, every tweet, even on his own podcast. Shaq, come over to WRSPN. You know what I mean? We can take care of you. But anyway, he's still taking shots at Pippen, calling him Mace, saying he's a sidekick. Yo, he had made one comment where he was like, yo, I made myself a vow that I'll never let a bum disrespect me. Like, he's just going all in on your man Scotty, man. What's up with Shaquille O'Neal, a.k.a. Pettywad?
Yo, Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal, he's uniquely equipped from a personality standpoint, charisma, wit, thought, social media savvy. He's equipped to do this. This is not what Scottie Pippen does. Like, if you look at their careers, even in their career arc and the timeline, Shaq's not a young dude, but Shaq came along in the time where social media exploded and he embraced it. You got some dudes in his generation that, don't know how to use it, went away from it. They have accounts, but whatever. Shaq embraced it. But Scotty comes from a time just before then where, he wasn't ready. He wasn't prepared. Scotty, if you need a social media consultant, man, War Room Sports is available.
Oh yeah. We would have lit Shaq ass up.
We would have ate Shaq's lunch easily, but you're not ready, man. Shaq is doo-dooing all over you. Some of it is real, some of it is legit, and some of it is he's just that funny. Like, yo, Shaq, I got a lot of reasons not to like you, but I can't help myself. Like, yo, he is funny as I don't know what. He's like a class
here's the thing,
clown
though.
In high school.
He's always been a clown, though. That's part of his personality, which is why Shaq is like one of the only marketable. Funny. He's one of the only marketable I've ever seen, Paul. Because
he's funny.
He has a personality. Which is why people love Shaq. You know what I'm saying? So he's like the big clown. And
Shaq is a police officer, and I still dig him. Like, pause. Like,
Black Lives Matter, but you still gotta respect Shaq. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Speaking of OGs in the NBA and whatnot, Vin Baker. For those who know Vin Baker was nice. Vin Baker had footwork and moves. But I remember in college, my man was averaging like 20 and 20. Maybe not to that extent, but he was like a double figure machine. He was up in the nation and rebounding as well as points. He was one of those guys. And also got in the league and would give you numbers in the league. Got well compensated for doing so. He made over $100 million in the NBA. But he's lost all his money. And as we said in the beginning of the show, he's now a manager at Starbucks. What was your thoughts when you saw this story?
He blew it. He blew it. Oh, he blew it. He blew it. He blew it. He blew it all. He blew it.
You should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself.
Vin Baker, you are our first JoJo Award nominee. Now, I want to take the mature route after I've just slandered the man and say I respect the fact that he is able to humble himself and share his story with the world as a cautionary tale for gentlemen who are now still in their playing days or even a little bit after, or rookies, you know, on the come up. It can happen to you. $100 million is not enough money that you can't blow it once you consider taxes, gambling, and all that comes with a celebrity and professional athlete's life. So I respect the fact that he is humble and he's stepping out like, look, you know, I'm that dude. I'm 6'10". I'm working at Starbucks. You know, people that come in here over 35 know who I am, and they point and laugh and snicker. People that's under 35, 25 to 35 come in here and say, man, you should be playing basketball. And then people that, you know, are teenagers just figure I do play basketball at college, but I'm just a little old looking. I mean, that's a lot of pressure that he has to go through on a day. Every day he's reminded of his failure. And I respect what he's doing and telling his story.
Yo, here's my thing. I got a couple thoughts. For one, I wonder how many young ladies he's put through college. Because I'm pretty sure it's multiples. So shout out to Vin Baker for, you know, helping our youth get educated.
Helping the economy.
Yeah, definitely helping the economy. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of you know, car salesmen that he's helped their kids eat. So, you know, so shout out to him for helping our overall economy. But also, here's something else. He gets the JoJo Award for blowing the money, obviously. But I gotta salute him for this reason. He humbled himself and took a gig. My man said, look, I got 4 kids and a wife. I got to try to provide. Some of these dudes lose all their money. They're washed. And they still try to live off that fame and, you know, just end up murking themselves or doing whatever because they can't swallow their pride enough to go work. He swallowed his pride. My man went to work. So shout out to him. I mean, you got people that have been on
shout out to Antoine Walker.
That are washed.
Shout out to Twan Walker.
Saying that refused to go get work. My man went and got a gig. You know what I'm saying? So, and also Howard Schultz, the guy who owns owner of Starbucks, was the former owner of the Seattle Supersonics, in which Vin Baker played for. So he's still looking out for Vin Baker and whatnot. So shout out to him too for helping Vin Baker put food on his family, whatever. But you know, it's still you still get the JoJo Award, but we gotta respect you for, you know, humbling yourself. I'm speaking of people who need to get their mentals together, humble themselves, and need role models.
It ain't gonna happen.
There's a fan who got a lifelike Kobe on his leg. I don't know if you've seen this, but it covers his entire leg, and it's a picture of Kobe Bean Bryant. Looks just like Kobe. This guy obviously doesn't have a father figure. But did you see the tattoo? And if so, what did you think about it?
No dignity. Dignity is at an all-time low. Self-respect is at an all-time low. And idolatry, dick eating, and Richard riding is at an all-time high. I mean, it's not possible for me to tattoo the face of another man on any part of my body. Even my late great dad, and my dad was great, but yo, I'm still a man and you a man. Like, I can't have your face on my body. Like, come on, yo.
Yeah, man, like that it's completely out of pocket, man.
You nutted.
I understand there's sycophants and people who are just, like, you know, more into sports than I am. They love the game, but yo, you're no father figure, yo, and there's no you get on a daily basis. No woman is going to give you moisture on a daily basis when she looks at your leg and sees another man. What's wrong with you, B? You need to get yourself together, man. It's no way.
Or she's gonna imagine that is that person slamming her up against the headboard.
So, I mean, without further ado, man, I just gotta say this.
You should be ashamed of yourself, the way you carry yourself.
Definitely give him a JoJo Award for that, man. If you haven't seen it, man, go to our page, facebook.com/WarRoomSports. You'll see a picture of this because it's all out disgusting. It's disgusting. I want to talk about one more thing while you want to grind, and that is your man. Now, for those who haven't been listening long enough, or who don't know B. Austin, B. Austin has a thing where there's certain players that are his guys. Sam Cassell is his guy. Chauncey Billups is his guy. This is another B. Austin's guys. Hibachi, Gilbert Arenas, got banned from the county. He got banned from like the county fair, John, man, because he kept winning all the prizes. My man went to the hoops and showed that he still got it. Like outside of still water. What's up with the ball, man?
Yo, before I even talk about this, I want to talk about an interview with Gilbert I just saw, like 20 seconds. You know, he's been caught 2 years in a row and faced felony charges with the fireworks, right? So the reporter on TMZ asked him, said, "Oh, so you calm that down, you stop?" He said, "No, I just don't drive." You think they caught all the fireworks? That was just some of the fireworks. I got a whole truckload trailer full of. Yo, my man won't learn. Listen, this is a typical Gilbert Arenas story, and it's so typical because it's atypical for anyone else. There's no one else in the world that would go there and do this with his level of talent and ability. And then the positive to the story, the part that they're not reporting, I believe he gave out the prizes to children. But of course, we wouldn't sell that part. We want to focus on the sensational, which is not really negative, but the negative side is here you are, one of the top, you know, I'll say the top 1,000 to 5,000 basketball players in the world skill wise, and you're going to the county fair to basically cheat. You're basically cheating. Like Gilbert, yo, he got too much time and too much money on his hand because he just got done making $22 million last year on that contract that Abe Pollin signed. So Gilbert has too much money and he has too much time on his hands, and he needs to find a constructive hobby. Like go play basketball in Saudi Arabia or something. Get some discipline in your life, boy.
Yo, man, Gilbert out of control. One thing I gotta say about this is I knew you wouldn't give it to him, but
he gave the prizes to the kids, man. How's that shameful?
Allegedly he did, man. Allegedly he did. Listen, we got a lot of stories we're gonna get into the show. We got a lot of more slander out. Before we do though, B. Austin, tell the people who's having a birthday.
Yo, birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies, though. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available, aka you can lay it away. Visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure and tell them War Room Sports sent you, because we got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. Birthdays.
It's my birthday. Yay!
My Puerto Rican Boricua Kensington familia, Carlos Arroyo of NBA fame and Puerto Rican national team fame, turns 36. Wow. How is Carlos Arroyo old? That's crazy.
Yo,
Jim McIlvaine.
Say like he's lying about his age. That's what it was.
Jim McIlvaine is 43. Terry Crews turns 47. Chris Mullin, swish, Run TMC, turns 52. Reggie Roby, the famous Dolphins punter, who was famous for kicking the ball very far and snorting cocaine, turns 54.
Hold on. What else is he famous for, man?
I don't know.
He was one of the only brothers, man. He was a brother, man.
Nah, man, punters don't exist. He should be ashamed of himself.
As a kicker, yeah, but that was the big thing, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
That shows you how I see sports, though. I'm a racist, but I got white friends. Go ahead.
Bill Cartwright, the great Bill Cartwright, turns 58. Bud Selig, the commissioner, turns 81. We'd like to give a nice big War Room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays.
It's my birthday. Yay!
Yeah, we're going to get into some hot topics real soon. But before we do, I have to tell everyone, check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for the War Report. That is our company newsletter, and we will not spam you. Guarantee. Click on the Contact Us tab to send a message to us about our company, our show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities. For general inquiries, you can just email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest sports articles in the All's Fair and Sports and More blog. Then we have other icons you can click on right on the website, our Facebook page, our Twitter. You can subscribe to our iTunes podcast. You can watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV. You can listen to the podcast network and download the app. Everything is right there. Right now, we need you to join the JW Philly Realty chat room. That's at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. And if you don't want to do that, guess what? You can use your Facebook or Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about our show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. If you want to call in and speak to us, again, that's 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. We'll bring you on and you can holler at us. Yo, man, it's time to jump right into some hot topics, which are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audio books and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. All you have to do is visit Audible and sign up for your free trial. That's at audibletrial.com/warroomsports. Everyone knows I'm into audio books as well. Just finished the Ta-Nehisi Coates new book. That's Your Brethren from Howard U. I finished that book on Audible.
True.
I'm still going through this long ass book, A People's History of the United States. I got it on audio book, and that joint is mad long, but it's very interesting, and I'm learning a lot.
It's written by
so
the
you can
Native
get
American?
No. It's written by a historian, but he's giving you the real stuff that they don't teach you in school and whatnot. You know, and that's also another book that I actually read on Audible. Is a book called The Lies My Teacher Told Me. Another powerful book. A lot of powerful books on there. If you into hood novels, they're on there. Anything, just go to audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and we definitely like to thank Audible for their support of the War Room. Man, listen, there are so many stories to talk about this week, man. Let's matter of fact, let's bring our brother on the line because I know he wants to talk about his beloved Patriots. Hey, Fred.
F the Patriots.
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Man.
Fred, what's going on, man? And everybody knows who Fred is. He's our college football expert as well as the resident Patriots fan. You can find him on Field Vision during the football season. Everyone knows we clown him because he's a Patriots fan. And one of the biggest stories in sports this past week has been Tom Brady and Roger Goodell upholding his 4-game suspension. So the first thing I want to ask you, Fred, as well as you be off this, are either one of you guys surprised? Fred, you go first. Are you surprised at all?
No. It had to happen eventually. After so many years of the Patriots getting caught over and over for different things, whether it was for Deflategate, Spygate, or whatever gate you want it to be, the Tuck rule, whatever it is, it just seems like the Patriots are the team that gets caught all the time. I think Tom Brady not producing his own records had a lot to do with it. Although I do remember, and I've said this a couple times, I remember a certain situation, and I know it's a little different because it is the federal government doing this, but when Kwame Kilpatrick was the mayor of Detroit, I remember, didn't they pull some phone records even after a phone was destroyed, and they pulled the text messages and things such as that? I remember that quite.
That's the U.S. government, Fred.
There's a little, for me, I look at it and I say, yeah, you can.
Yeah, but you're talking about a mayor that was stealing money and was making sweet, passionate love to his assistant, who was on the payroll and who was having parties with a bunch of youths there. That's completely different than this, man.
Yes, but at the same time, it is possible to pull text messages even after a phone has been destroyed. Now, I do feel like.
No, go ahead.
I mean, it's very easy to, I'm pretty sure there is a way to do so. And if Tom Brady really, really wanted that to happen, or the NFL wanted that to happen with the power that both of those two, the organization and the person have, I'm pretty sure we could make that happen with the money that they can throw around, I'm pretty sure. But from the other side of things, the Robert Kraft and Roger Goodell side of it, where Robert Kraft was a little upset about it, not surprised the NFL upheld it. It was bound to happen.
Yeah, be awesome. What about you?
Death to the Patriots, death to all things in Foxborough, you know, an organization that I highly respect and regard, but also I hate at the same time. And so for me, I'm glad. I hope that the Patriots don't get off to a hot start. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy about it. And the NFL Players Association, of course, has come to bear, and they're suing and they're trying to get it overturned and some more jazz. But I guess Robert Kraft just said, look, I'm not cutting the bribery check this time. I'm not.
Here's my thing, right? Everyone knows I'm a conspiracy theorist. Me and brother Dev, he's out feeding hungry children all across the globe. So shout out to Dev for like doing community service for us. But we talked last week about this, and I think the whole thing is a conspiracy. Like, this guy is one of the biggest stars in the league. We're talking about this when, I mean, obviously, well, sports is dry right now. But the thing is, we haven't stopped talking about the NFL since ever, because they find a way to stay relevant, stay at the page of the news. It's like baseball season is going on. There's a lot of amazing games, possible no-hitters, and SportsCenter is leading off with Tom Brady. Yo, the NFL has done the greatest job of telling their narrative, and Tom Brady is basically sacrificing himself and putting up the front for the league so the league can stay relevant. And Fred, at the end of the day, they will not take the championship. So as a Patriots fan, who cares? I would like for my team, I wish you would cheat. Go ahead and cheat. Win me a chip, and then you can sit our quarterback down for 6 games.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I don't care. Talk to him.
No.
Listen, sit our quarterback down for 6 games if you're willing to cheat and win a championship, man.
Now, for me, I kind of want to piggyback on what you just said about the NFL, knowing how to stay in the headlines. I have a bit of a nice little conspiracy theory, too. The NFL loves drama. Well,
Absolutely.
The first 4 games, the NFL the Patriots have 4 games of Brady being out. That's the Cowboys, the Steelers, some team in Buffalo, and
back against the Colts.
And you play the Colts when they come back in Indy. The last time that the Patriots actually played in Indy, some guy named Jonas Gray, who never played after that game, went off for 160 yards and 4 touchdowns. Had nothing to do with, Deflategate. No football was there's nothing you can say about a deflated football in that game. 4 touchdowns on the ground. You got the ball put down your throat. I actually did the numbers. The Patriots had 350 yards on the ground. That has nothing in 2 games.
Now, you do know, Fred. I got to put this out there because I was with you until you said nothing to do with deflating the ball. But it's easier not to fumble when the ball is deflated. I'm just saying.
Well, you still got to tackle somebody, and you still got that defensive line has to get a push. And that's only a small factor.
And I know that's my favorite thing to say because that's what it's all about. It's all about at the end of the day. I don't think that deflating the football made that much of a difference. That's why this whole thing is nothing but is nothing but BS to me. Like
I don't either.
I don't think it really matters.
Brother Dev will definitely come back and probably correct us on that from his perspective. But I've always said that as well. I don't know how big of a difference deflating the ball makes, but by the same token,
I can see.
I know that it's common practice. It's common practice by a lot of teams. The Patriots just got caught. All the teams do.
That's my point. Austin, that's my point. I'm not saying it doesn't matter in terms of. I just made the argument that it's easier not to fumble when it's deflated. So I know it can affect the game in small ways, but once they start allowing quarterbacks to bring their own footballs, there's probably all kinds of stuff that we just don't know about now. Now, because they're making it out of Brady, cats may not do what they've been doing, but I'm pretty sure all kinds of rules have been violated. Once once the league allowed the quarterbacks to bring their own footballs.
For me, I look at it and I say, on the defensive side, it would give the Colts a bigger advantage because the ball doesn't have as much air; it can't travel as far. Granted, for the quarterback, they can grip it a little better, but in an outdoor setting where the Patriots do play outdoors, it does not really lend a hand to Brady much more because you have to throw the ball much harder for it to go much farther. Granted, the Patriots don't throw the ball down the field much, but for a defender, they get the same grip when they're trying to get an interception. For me, the Patriots ran the football a lot more than they have in the last 2 years than they have in recent memory, really. They've become more of a air it out, spread it out team ever since Brady and Randy Moss and Wes Welker and those guys kind of hooked up, and it just became just an air it out type of show. But LeGarrette Blount and the rest of those running backs took the air out the ball, no pun intended.
Again,
the last 2 years.
Like either fumbles. Like I can make the argument either way, which is why this is all BS, man. It's all BS. But
the NFL
I don't think it
something
really
to remain relevant.
That's exactly that's the way I'm looking at it. Now, when you look at the games that you guys have to play, you guys could, very easily go 3-1 or 2-2. But either way, I don't think it will affect your overall season. I mean, and even if it does, you guys just won a championship. The odds of you winning it back to back are slim to none anyway. You know what I mean? Like that's slim to none anyway. So y'all got the chip. It is what it is, man.
I look at the first 4 games. I look at the first 4 games and I say Pittsburgh, that's a toss-up. Buffalo, they don't have a quarterback, so I'm not really too afraid of them. Jacksonville, that's a guarantee. I won't say a guarantee because there's nothing guaranteed in the NFL, but that's as close of a close. And they have a good young team. They have a nice nucleus of players, but they're not ready for that to come to Foxborough and win yet. And you have Dallas, some team in Dallas that I don't refer to by their other name because they're just not worthy of that yet. You got to win some more games before we can call you the Cow. Well, I'm sorry. Oh, I almost said it. Sorry. But you got to win a couple more games so I can refer to you by your name again. But Tony Romo is not going to.
Here's my thing, right? What's going to happen is you guys will go 2-2, 3-1, and then you'll have the Tom Brady haters who are out of control. I mean, just like his Richard Riders are too. But they'll be like, I told you, it's all about the system. They don't need Brady. Let you guys go 3-1. Watch how many people you see online saying that Brady's not needed, which is all BS. But you're going to see it.
I would love to dispel that theory. I really would. And it probably would take a little longer than I'm allotted here.
Well, Fred, before we let you go, Fred, it's something else I want to bring up. I want to keep you on for one more story. And Tobias is just called in as well, and I want to get his opinion on this because, we're men of a certain age. Fred, you're a little bit younger, but all you guys – now, see, I never liked this guy to begin with. And I'm talking about Hulk Hogan. Man. I'm going to tell you why I never liked the guy. I'm not giving you the story. Hulk Hogan has been banished from the WWE for audio that's leaked of him giving court testimony, and he was in court because he was out of control already, sleeping with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. But it's a whole long story. Hulk Hogan has had reckless behavior for years, but this audio file took it to another level. The WWE did the same thing to him they did with Chris Benoit when Benoit murked out his home family and himself when he was on that juice. They basically took anything that you can see that associates him with their organization was gone. They did the same thing to Hogan. Now, I know Chris Benoit because I was a wrestling fan. It's easy to remove that, but you can't really removing Hulk Hogan from wrestling, even as a guy that doesn't like Hulk Hogan to begin with. That's like
he is WWE.
Yeah, he is.
Because here's my thing, right? Before I give you guys the floor, right? Here's what I want to say. Like, I never liked Hogan. I hated Hogan as a kid because to me, Ric Flair was one of the gods. I was a Ric Flair stan, and those were like the two guys that were put on a pedestal. So either you were an NWA or a WWF guy, and I was a Ric Flair stan. So as a Ric Flair stan, I couldn't like Hogan. And I'm talking about this stuff like it's real. But anyway,
the hard work, the prayers, and the vitamins, brother.
Yeah, and I wasn't with all that, man. I wasn't with all that, B. But I want to get your opinion, Fred. I mean, you know, everybody watches wrestling, so don't sit there and tell me you never watch wrestling. What is your opinion on Hulk Hogan after, you know, seeing what happened to him?
Wow. And I had a little to say about this one. My initial thought was, it's okay to watch my career, love my sayings, as B. Austin said, eat your Wheaties and take your vitamins and say your prayers and all of that. But when it comes down to taking my daughter out on a date, I don't know, marrying my daughter, any of that, no, that's a pause. We're going to pause at that.
No, actually, not verbatim, but what he said, I wouldn't mind if it was a rich nigga, but it can't be a poor nigga.
No, but B. Austin, what he said kind of didn't make no sense, though, because he was like, I could see if it was an 8-foot basketball player. First of all, nobody's ever been, there's no 8-foot basketball players, yo. Step that up. For one,
there's some Chinese gentlemen that would disagree with you, Jimmy.
They're not 8 foot tall. I don't care what you say. But and for two, from my understanding of the story, she was dating the son of a billionaire. But I mean, I guess Hulk Hogan has fame, like, you know, confused with money. I don't know, maybe. But that's from my understanding what I read, you know, and you know, I didn't research this. You know, my research goes as far as the Google. But so he was kind of confusing then, but Hulk Hogan is not a bright guy to begin with. So, but I get your point, though. Fred. Like, you could do all these things, but when it comes to my daughter, that's something different. Now, Fred, let me ask you a question. Were you a Hulk Hogan fan coming up?
No, not really. I was more of a fan of, I was a Stone Cold Steve Austin fan. I loved between him, Shawn Michaels. I did love Ric Flair. I was a big Ric Flair fan. But The Rock was my favorite guy outside of and Bret Hart. I grew up in that era, the Raw Attitude, Raw
Attitude era. Yeah.
Goldberg was one of my favorites. Those were my kind of guys.
So basically, it's like it's a difference for you because Hogan was still. I mean, Hogan's been around forever. He's been around through all of our lives. But you like the guys that basically he influenced. So, but Austin.
Jet plane flying.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah, we get the point. We get the point, good brother. So my question to you is, you know, how'd you feel about this whole thing with Hulk Hogan?
Personally, you know, this is really an indication of where America is and the society that we grow up in. And you know, I hold myself accountable. I'm never surprised by a white person's outlook on black people if there's any inkling of racism, prejudice, ethnocentrism, white privilege. All of those things are ingrained in the fibers and fabric of our society. That's what America is. It's just that it's so ugly and it's so nasty. We don't like to acknowledge it. And here's the other thing, right? So I would say most human beings are not hateful human beings. So a lot of these negative things don't come from a place of hate. And so that's what makes white folks uncomfortable with stuff like this, because they'll have those little prejudices or racist viewpoints, but they don't hate us. But some of the things that have happened throughout the history of this country are so heinous, so negative, so nasty, so evil. They don't want the association. So the guilt comes in. So when little things like this slip out, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Ric Flair felt that way. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them felt that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But if Ric Flair, I just came out about Ric Flair with my heart. But here's the thing, though. I shout out to DJ Ben Amin, who I'm talking to on Twitter. And the point he made when we were talking about this, he says, Hulk Hogan is a rich white guy. He says, so I just automatically assume anybody who's rich and white is racist anyway. So I'd be more shocked if he wasn't. So that kind of goes to your point, B. Austin. But you know, the fact of the matter is, it goes back to what Fred said. Like, yo, but you're Hawk Hollywood Hogan. You can't even say this stuff in private if you feel that way, because like your character is bigger than Terry Bollea, or whatever his name is. Like, the part of the reason why you were able to get wealthy, you know, there's a lot of black folks helped you get there, good brother. You know, but you was everybody's hero. You know, except for people like me who root for bad guys. You know, maybe that's a sickness I got, but I always root for the bad guys, and I'm not with the Hogan thing. But man, that's sad to hear, man. You know, but he's down there in Florida, where Fred is from. So maybe it's something going on in Florida, man. You know, hey Fred, I do want to say this though, man. Thank you for your time. Thanks for staying around to talk Hogan with us, man. Where can the people find you at, good brother?
Well, we have a new addition to the tagline. I'm now with About.com, talking a little college football SEC writer. You can catch me at...
You said About.com?
Yes, About.com.
Okay, ABOUT.
ABOUT.com.
Okay. All right, salute. You always get new gigs, man. You're that guy. When it comes to college football, everybody likes to hire you, man. So congratulations.
God
You
bless.
guys can always...
Be a Purdue
Appreciate
and never
that,
be a Purdue.
Yeah. So how can everybody get with you? They can read your writing at About.com. What about you on Twitter?
You can catch me on Twitter at Purdue Sports or at College Football Extra. Got a nice little project I'm coming out with. Top players for every team in the SEC to watch out for that are not superstar household names yet. Big name to watch out for this year. He's kind of a name, but he's not a name. You may want to watch out for Leonard Fournette. He's the sophomore running back for the LSU Tigers. He'll be coming to an NFL near you.
Can we get top players likely to hit a female on the bar?
Well, you can go to wow, you might want to go to Florida State for that. Wrong conference. Wrong conference.
I know.
I do have one bit of news for you guys. If you want to talk just college football related, and it just dropped not too long ago, if you got a minute.
Okay, we're listening. Go ahead. What's up?
We have the Ohio State Buckeyes, national champions, right? 4 starters out for game 1 of the season. Joey Bosa, their number 1 overall player on that team, defensive lineman. He'll probably be a top 5 pick going into next year's draft. Jalen Marshall, their top speed receiver, H-back Dontre Wilson, is also out. And this is the last name of the other player that they did have is escaping me right at this moment. But there are 4 starters out on this team. And going up against a good Virginia Tech team that actually beat them last year. So that may be something to watch out for. Dontre Wilson is an H-back he's a decent player, but we've already got news that Braxton Miller, the former quarterback, is playing a little receiver and working there. So that would be a great opportunity for him to get out there and get some experience.
Okay. All right, cool. So we'll definitely be looking out for that. And also make sure when you drop those lists and all the things you do leading up to the season, come on, let us know so we can, read your work and get more in tune with college football, because it is a beautiful sport. But as always, Fred, thanks for your time, man. Thanks for staying around, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, take it easy.
No doubt. Next
we got the homie Tobias on the line. He wants to talk about a couple things. I want to get Tobias's opinion on this Hulk Hogan thing too. Tobias, you are now in the war room. What's up? Tobias, you there? Oh, Roll Damn Tide ain't there. What's going on?
Roll Damn Tide ain't there. He'll call back. Bang on him.
All right, Tobias. Yeah, Tobias, hit us back.
We got to talk MLB. My man Cole Hamels, man. What's up?
Yeah, a couple things in the MLB definitely want to bring up, man. Cole Hamels was traded to the Rangers for like 6 players. I'm not gonna pretend to know those 6 players because I'm not even gonna pretend to be a huge baseball fan. But I am a Cole Hamels, or I have been a Cole Hamels fan. People always call him Cole Hamels, but his name actually has an S at the end. It's Cole Hamels. Probably because it sounds stupid. Hamels sounds better. But I was just going to talk a little bit about his legacy as a Philly, because the thing about it is, like I told Fred about, when you win a championship, you can have some losing seasons, and the Phillies stink now, but Cole Hamels was a part of, the nucleus that, got the Phillies over the hump, got us a chip, man. So I want to salute Cole Hamels for his time in Philadelphia. I think it's time to go. I think it's time to send everybody away. It's time to start from scratch, in my personal opinion. So what do you think about Cole Hamels, B. Austin?
Salute to him for 2008. He'll always have a fond place over here. But yeah, it's time to move on. It's definitely time to get more talent, young talent, so that we can begin trying to climb that mountain, yet again.
And the thing about it is, what people don't know, he was actually the MVP of that World Series, man. So he was an integral part, man. Got to see him at the parade. But it's time to roll, man. It's definitely time to roll. And it's one of those things where I'm not mad. It's sort of like if I want to compare this, like I'm a Phillies fan, I want to compare this to my basketball team, because right where we're stink now, and we refuse to let Kobe go. We'd rather give him more money. I know people would not like that analogy, but sometimes it doesn't matter what you've done for a team. Sometimes it's time to start over, B. This is a business. So, but salute to Cole Hamels for his time in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
Salute to him for being that MVP. He's a 3-time All-Star. He won the Babe Ruth Award.
He made 22.5 last year. Not sure what he's making this year, but it's good to get that money up off the books and get 5 prospects in to begin seeing what we can build. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm in the same boat as you. Thank you for your time and service. Appreciate you, but go that away.
And he threw a no-hitter in 2015. So like like you said, B. Austin, would you say go that away? Here's something I want to ask you about. Even if you're not a huge baseball fan, this guy. One Pedro Martinez. His number 45 was retired at Fenway Park. I want to know, do you think he deserved to have his number retired? And what do you remember about Pedro Martinez?
The Yankees are daddies.
The greatest. I'm surprised we don't have that sound bite. That is the greatest.
I'm just going to say this. He was very entertaining. I enjoyed his service in the game of baseball. Shout out to all my Dominicans, DDP. They don't play. But why did he have a Jerry curl that long? Like, I know you speak Spanish, but you still black man. Like you had a Jerry curl in the 2000s. That's not cool.
Pedro was that guy, man. Pedro wasn't afraid of anything. He wasn't afraid to throw the ball at people. Like, he was reckless. He talked trash. Even when he came washed up to the Phillies, I was still excited because he was an entertaining guy. Sometimes in sports, man, you can be great and just not be entertaining. Like, as great as Tim Duncan is, like, I don't like watching him play. Like, I'd rather watch somebody entertaining, man. He's an entertaining athlete. So I'm kind of biased in saying that, yes, it's deserved. If I sat back and really thought about it and broke down his contribution, his numbers, I might feel different, but I'm not doing that. I'd rather just, go with my heart and say, yeah, let him in.
I'm rooting for him.
Shout to Sky for you, Kevin. He says he remember him fighting Zimmerman, an 80-year-old man. Shout to Guest 1441. And yes, you did, Mr. Brady Discourse. We think it's all conspiracy theory. We got the homie back on the line. Roll damn tide, Tobias. Tobias, what's going on?
Roll damn
tide.
Hey,
what's going on? Roll tide. I wish Fred was there so I could holler at him real quick. But anyway, how's it going, people?
Oh, man, we alive and well. Man. The king is back from Africa.
Yeah, hey, I gotta say a couple quick things. First, as a Dodger fan, I wanted Hamels, but I'll gladly take David Price. And it's how you know I'm a Dodger fan. I'm still PO. They traded Pedro Martinez for Delano DeShields. That's all I got to say.
Delano DeShields. Oh God, that's a blast in the past. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought him up. One, he was one of the most dominating pitchers ever. He may not get the 300 wins, but he dominated. He was the best pitcher in sport for like 5 or 6 years. The guy, I remember this game. It was on TV.
Now, hold on. I'm gonna slow you down. I gotta look that up. I remember he definitely was dominating. To say the most dominant for about 6 years. I mean, there was Randy Johnson. There's a lot of guys who were dominant around that time. To say the most, but I'll give him his just due though. He was that guy. But most dominant for 6 years. You might be,
Yeah.
you might be,
6
you might be reaching right there, man.
Kurt Schilling was better than Randy Johnson to me. I was being especially in post. Hey, Kurt was a man in postseason.
Don't do that.
Hey, but
In
but
postseason.
anyway,
The big unit, pause. Not the big
Big
unit.
Unit was great, man. But I tell you, I'm getting here. Randy was, a couple of years that he had his control, but most of that year he was like he was throwing a wiffle ball. But anyway, but most dominating performance on Pedro was he said he'll get a 1 home run with a 1 hitter, 17 strikeouts at Yankee Stadium when the Yankees was missing that run. That just impressed me. But the thing I want to touch on was it's kind of ironic and symbolic what the Hulk Hogan situation happened the same day when Colin Cowherd got slapped on the hand for talking greasy about Dominicans. And you remember like when that stuff came out, you could find a Dominican athlete in the press or anything dance and say, "Oh, Mr. Cowherd, a good man. He don't be too hard over now. We forgive him." But as soon as Hogan said what he said, you got that old coon George Foreman, who Muhammad Ali called Uncle Tom 50 years ago, out there talking about, Hogan ain't racist. The man was dropping M-bombs left and right, going off.
No.
Every racist stereotype on earth.
The funny. Now we can agree on some stuff because first of all, you came in on some Reed Richards stuff, like you just Mr. Fantastic with all these reaches, the best for 6 years, and Kurt Schilling is better than Randy Johnson. We can argue that later. But the funniest thing about people defending Hogan is in the actual tape, Hogan says, "I might be racist." Like, am I racist? Yeah, I might be racist. He calls himself racist. I'm not
Black people are ultimately we are way too forgiving as a people. Maybe that's not as good a trait as made out, especially for a group of people to be so forgiving for the ass kickings that we take. That George Foreman. Stick to selling.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, just going back to your point, like the most dominant pitcher for 6 years. I don't know, man. You gave him way too many years. He got about 219 wins, 100 losses. So now his ERA is 2.93, and he has over 3,000 strikeouts. So I give him that. He definitely was dominant. But to say he was the best pitcher for 6 years, I mean, he only made the All-Star game 8 times. He did win the Cy Young 3 times.
He showed up to one of them. Pedro showed on one of the one in Boston. Pedro was on vacation. But anyway, like Bianca was talking about.
Think about this, though. You also got to bring up Greg Maddux. Who was better than Greg Maddux at that time?
Greg folded like a chick when October hit. Let's just be honest here.
He was a scientist, man. He was a scientist. Man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He was.
So,
I'll tell you this, though.
For all of his shenanigans, Pedro was a bit of a scientist, too, because it wasn't just the big 97-mile-per-hour fastball.
That changeup.
It was the curveball. It was that changeup, the cutter. He had a lot of, as they say in baseball, a lot of stuff for being a fastball pitcher. He wasn't just, I'm gonna overpower you with the arm. He had so much with him, mentally, that made him great, which is why he was able to pitch. In 2009, when my Phillies signed him, arm strength wise, his arm wasn't stronger than mine, but he had so much stuff that he could finesse it, and I respected that about Pedro.
Hey, can I bring us on real quick?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry I had to flip it back, but be also talking about black folks forgiving. One thing also, we got to get these coons on TV, like Stephen A. Smith. Sorry, Stephen A. Stephen A. buck dance. Stephen A. be buck dancing his butt off ever since he got a pimp slap for making Michelle Beadle mad. I'm like, dude, how can you say Hulk Hogan's was worse than Raleigh Cooper? They were both bad. And yet, Skip Bayless goes harder on that stuff than Stephen A. does. Stephen A. is black, and Skip is a 60-something-year-old white man. He'll go harder than Stephen A. I'm like,
it's one of these things, man. It's sort of like Guest 1441 says. It says, we are more forgiving of others than we are ourselves. And the thing about it is, Stephen Smith likes to practice what people call respectability politics. you know, you just pull your pants up and act right and put on a tie. Everybody treat you like, you know, that nonsense, which is just isn't true. And if anything that you've learned over the last couple of years, yeah, like, you know, that won't work. It's deeper than that. But also Stephen A. Smith has a nice size salary, and you know, it's because that everyone knows I'm a conspiracy theorist. I want to preface it by saying that, but it's like, yo, at times I think that's what he's there for. He's there to talk down to us. He's like on his Bill Cosby joint, you know, before we knew Bill Cosby was taking the punani when he was going around the country, you know, telling everybody to pull their pants up and you know,
Big Papa Quaalude. I call him Papa Quaalude.
Yeah. But I sometimes watching Stephen A, I'm like, is he planning there to do that? Because when he goes in on women, he has to apologize within like 10, 20 hours. He's back on there giving an apology. But how come he never has to apologize when he goes in on, you know, an African American or anything else for that matter? But so I get your point with Stephen A. Smith, man. The fact of the matter is, though, when you look at the national outlets, and this goes back to me being a conspiracy theorist, do you think they'll let somebody on who will say what we know should be said?
That's why you got to have your own stuff like you guys have. And
well, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I'll say this because I know you guys got to go, but I watched Stephen A. be going off, and even Skip Bayless be like, man, chill. You can see Skip Bayless' face. And, you know, and I say this real quick about forgiving. Michael Vick goes up here forgive Riley Cooper, who has a job and who doesn't. Riley Cooper did he stop talking to Vick? And I'm like, this guy straight said with every end in the bar, he still has a job in a brand new contract. Mike Vick may be working at NFL Network now. And it didn't even take long to Chip Kelly get rid of him. So, hey, so I want a Riley Cooper if Mike Vick needed some money, or Riley Cooper loan him a couple of bucks. Not going to happen.
See,
so that's why I believe we can stop forgiving.
Yo, but Mike Vick is not good.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, Riley, the thing about it is, I agree with you to a certain extent. Riley,
don't worry.
Riley still might, but listen to me real quick. Riley still may be able to contribute. I don't know what Vic has got left to give, man. Like at this point, Riley might have more value to a team than Vic. I know that sounds crazy, and it sounds like, you know.
Vic's done.
But Vic is done. Yeah, Vic, yo, put him on a fork. He's done. Riley may have a little bit left to give. Riley is no one. Riley's not even a number 2, but to be 3 or 4 on someone's depth chart, I mean, he may be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, in football, football seems to be a little bit more forgiving than other sports. Like,
yo, you know, if you can't take Geno Smith's job, if you can't take Geno Smith's job, you're not good. You don't need to be
that. So I was with you. I was ready. I got my Black Lives Matter hat, about to put that on and everything. And then you brought up Mike Vick. I gotta back out now, man.
No, but see, the thing was, it's not necessarily him losing a job. I just bring up that point there. But the problem is that you don't openly forgive racists, because you don't openly forgive. The bad guys don't forgive. We can't play the Christianity card either, because those white Christians ain't forgiving nobody. You know, let's just be honest here.
I'm gonna get kicked off the internet.
He's on, talking about Christianity. Tobias came on with his red, black, and green on.
Yeah.
All right.
But y'all take it easy, man. I know you got other people.
Oh, man, love to you, Tobias. We always appreciate it.
Let us next week.
All right, y'all take it easy, man.
All right, peace. Yeah, man. He don't want me to start he don't want me to get on my Christian bashing. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Shout out to all the young ladies on Christian Mingle. You know what I'm saying? At JW the Blueprint. Anyway,
shout out to Creflo Dollar.
One of the best hustlers in the country, man.
Come on,
listen.
Stop,
I
man.
want to bring up a story for you. I got another story I'm going to jump right into right now. I want to talk about Josh Smith. Josh Smith has to put food on his family, man. He says the $6.9 million salary is harder on his family. Now, I want to know your initial thoughts when you saw this, and then I'm going to, give you a little bit more context. What were your initial thoughts when you saw this?
I thought immediately back to one of my favorite players from the 90s, a brother who wasn't afraid of authority. He wasn't scared to choke a coach out. He wasn't scared to step to players, when his light-skinned brother in H2O was getting punked. He wasn't scared to shoot the ball.
On the Jewels, you blew more money than the trail?
Yo, 100 times a game, and if it needed to be shot 101, he was there to do it. That was my man. He when he first came in the league, he had a right and a left hand. They suspended him. He came back, and all he did was go right, but it didn't matter. That was my man. The point I'm making is Latrell Sprewell made a comment when he was offered 3 years, $24 million, that I gotta feed my family. That's not enough. I think that America in and of itself is a culture of waste. So for me, unless you have literally 69 relatives that you're taking care of, which still would give them 100,000.
Look at you bringing an international perspective. You coming back from the motherland, now you calling us all wasteful and whatnot.
I just can't imagine. Yo, we are a culture of waste. I just can't imagine what was on his mind when he said 6.9 million. Yo, I said 69. I was looking at a picture of Janet Jackson, so you know where my head went. 6.9 million is not enough. Are you serious? So then I thought taxes. Then I thought about, maybe he has a couple outstanding loans out there that are bad because, NBA players are known for going and buying more than they can actually afford. And people give it to him. I thought about his financial situation. I took into consideration taxes. $6.9 million salary is really a net of about 3.8. You're going to get about 3.8, 3.9, maybe at max $4 million out of that. But who can't live off $4 million? All
right, now,
who can't live off of $400,000 a month?
All right, listen though. The reason I wanted you to give your opinion first, right, is because I actually read the story and I read the quote, and the headline is so misleading. That's not even what he said. He said, "I'm taking a $6.9 million salary. This will be hard on my family because this is my third team in as many years, and we have to keep uprooting our lives and moving." He was talking about moving. They cut the headline up.
Yeah.
They cut the headline up.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is they put the headline out there and everybody and their mom went in on him. But if you actually read and listen to the quote, that's not even what he was talking about. But I just found it funny because I'm good for that too.
So in the words of the great philosopher and hero Welvin, got him.
Yeah. Like I'm guilty of it too. I read headlines and go in sometimes, but I also think that in 2015, right? And I'm coming to this conclusion: facts don't matter. Like, yo, what's going on? The facts don't matter. Like, for instance, I'll give you another example.
Facts don't matter, and attention is the root of all evil.
Yo, shout to Fab. I was reading up on the whole thing with the boy Jared from Subway. Yo, he had nothing at all to do with the reason they went in his crib. But the fact is, that's what the headline. Everybody thinks he's a perv now. Yo, but it's like in 2015, we got so much slander and jokes to get off that we don't even care what the facts are. Like, just give us a reason to send memes all across the internet.
Yeah, let's meme
and make these jokes. Like we got these jokes. We got to exchange jokes.
Nothing is appreciated. It's a culture of immediacy, and that's back to my point earlier when I say America and the West in general, not just America, but America's at the center of it.
Here you go with the international perspective.
We're a culture of wastefulness. We even waste culture and art, because if a cat drops a hot song right in 2015 on Monday, yo, by Wednesday people ain't checking for that song, especially not lyrical content. No, we on to the next thing. And if a cat dropped by Monday, by Friday, cats forgot that what dropped on Monday. So that being said, that still applies to the news cycle as well. That applies to the news cycle. Stories, that's one of the things that, I feel really bad about Black Lives Matter. We can look at this story, unless it's sensational enough, unless it's deeply impacted. What level of impact do you have to hold and sustain people's interest and attention? That's crazy. So now you gotta cut this man's story back to Josh Smith, and I was guilty of this too. If we would have just said, Josh Smith says, he's concerned about uprooting his family multiple times because of the number of teams he's been on. Nobody would have checked for that story. But the minute we think that he's ungrateful for the $7 million he's going to make, then it allows society the opportunity to crucify him because he's saying something crazy, and we can go in on it. That's society.
Yo, but we love going in on anybody though. We don't even care what the actual story is. We got
that's what WRS is here. We're guilty. WRS is guilty. Look, we're not looking down on you.
Guilty of it. But that's why I try to start reading articles now, and also like doing a little bit of research, because yo, there's so many fake websites that are dedicated to not either parody or just flat out just like faking the funk. People like 45 people tweeted me and Facebooked me this article this week about J.R. Smith signing with the Lakers, and it was like a full article. And I looked at it and I'm like, right, well, first of all, I got a spelling error. So how'd that come out? Then it said Bleacher Reports with an S at the end. The website is actually Bleacher Report. Someone created a website called Bleacher Reports with an S, and they can report all fake news stories. But because people don't even look at the URL, they were like sending this article out left and right. Oh, J.R. Smith with the Lakers.
They got mean hits. They got mean hits. And peep how this is being sold. Because it was a sensational story, 2.5 million people, not that exact number, but 2.5 million people clicked on it. Now these jabronis probably went to advertising and they caught a nice little check because their site is getting so much traffic off this bull job.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that's the thing. Like, yo, it's 2015, man. Like, yo, it's all about the headline. It's all about the headline. And I see this with articles daily. I'm like, you'll see a whole argument. You'll see a whole argument.
Mill gets caught in Nicki Minaj's panties. We're gonna drop that article. Yo, that'll do numbers.
Yo, matter of fact, I'm just gonna flat out make a blog post that says Meek Mill diss track here exclusively here. And before people realize it's fake, he probably get 6 million hits, and it will travel the net. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, man. It's utterly ridiculous, man. But it's the world we live in. Everything's sensationalized. Things travel at the speed of light. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's crazy, man. I believe this is the homie Philmatic. Is this Philmatic online, man? Phil, what's good?
Phil. No doubt. What's up, brothers? What's going on?
What's really good?
What's good?
First off, let me give you a proper introduction. This is the one and only Philmatic of the Tissue and the Tape podcast, which does on the War Room Sports Podcast Network, WRSPN.
War Room Sports family.
You are the hip hop guy, so this is like a great week for you altogether.
We need your take. Yo, we needed you to call in right now. We put the bat signal up and you responded.
No doubt. Yo, it's been crazy, man. Like a lot of slander for the boy Meek, but a lot of self-induced slander. He brought most of it on himself. But y'all absolutely right about the headlines. The headlines are crazy. I saw 7 different posts of Meek diss records, all fake, of course, as we know. But they all had 300, 400, a couple thousand, likes or, whatever.
Yeah.
One just opens up and says, "Daddy." So, yeah. I mean, it's so crazy. But yeah, as far as me, he's digging a hole that I don't know he'll ever fully recover from. I mean, of course he'll bounce back. Him and Drake hug it out. They'll do a Lifetime special, and it'll all be good again. They'll do some bullshit. They'll do some whack song together. That they're friends, pseudo friends, and then it's back to business as usual. But
part of me, Phil.
I got so mad. Hold on, Jimmy. I got so mad that I found myself, and I'm no Rameek fan, but I got so mad I found myself praying that like Chill Moody would do a track, or that Beanie would get involved, or Black Thought. Even
I mean, you can't call your brother. You can't call your big brother to fight it for you, and it's not a Philly versus Toronto thing.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's just, I get so much heat, as a personality in the media, and as War Room grows, people know where we're from. So everybody, the narrative is being changed from a Meek Mill versus Drake thing to that's how y'all rock in Philly. That's your thing.
Now, real quick, hear me out real quick, Phil.
I can't stand it.
To me, the only thing that had me tight was the Joe Carter cover art. I ain't gonna front. That pissed me off a little bit because I'm still, even though we won in 2008, I'm still a little hurt about that 93 World Series. And in fact, I went and added Mitch Williams, and I told him, like, I still don't forgive you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt some kind of way about that. But I'm dead serious though. But the thing about it is, like, part of me feels like this whole thing is fixed. But it also shows you just how strategic that Drake was with it. Because the only dude that would possibly say something back to him just on some, like, who are you talking to, would probably be AR Ab, and he gave him a shout out. So now you got the most popular artist in the world giving you a shout out, so you fall back like, oh,
I heard he signed the boy. For what reason?
That was a rumor.
That's one of those headlines, yo.
Yeah, it's one of them headlines. But if he did, though, B. Austin, that's just because he's trying to basically crush the boy. Like, I'm going to sign you and say, I'm gonna say, look, your man didn't put you on, and he been on for years. I'm gonna put you on. That just gets real ugly. But here's my last thought about this, though, Phil. I was reading something else, that MTV is actually in the process right now of filming a Nicki Minaj reality show. So, of course, the conspiracy theorist in me thinks that this whole thing was set up by all three of them, because Drake has been popping over the last week. Everyone's talking about Nicki. And I know there are people I know for a fact I got aunts who live in Philly who didn't even know who Meek was, who called me, who's this Meek Mill? Like, his popularity is through the roof, even if it's for all the wrong reasons.
No doubt.
You know, so part of me is like, this whole thing is fixed. They probably writing diss records to each other with each other.
If that's correct, if that's right, well, if that's the truth, then Drake need to ghostwrite for Rameek, man. He need to. But if that's true, how far have we fallen? How far have we fallen where attention and social media imprint mean more than respect and dignity and like character? Like, how? I don't even understand. You gotta explain it to me. You gotta explain it to me. I can't.
It's the short attention span of the culture of the populace. Everything is 144 characters, and that's all that matters. 15-second bites.
Oh yeah.
144 characters.
Give them the hashtag. Give them the hashtag you coined. We coined the hashtag for it. 16
bars over 140 characters all day long. You can text and tweet all day long, but the minute somebody gets on the verse and gives you the business and you don't say nothing back, it's an L. I don't care where you from. And he's from where I grew up. I know AR Ab as a kid. I know his mom. So it's not.
Then I blame Phil. Phil, you supposed to correct them dudes. Phil, you supposed
man. You gotta. They grown men. They grown men, and Phil, you can't control grown men.
But Phil, you know what though?
You can't control grown men.
Because these young boys, that's how they communicate. They're from a different era, which is why I was like, yo, either Drake was raised right, or he got an old head and was like, don't respond right away, chill and go and do this. Because I don't think that Meek was like ready for it. I thought Meek thought he probably would get in a Twitter fight with him, but I don't think Meek thought that Drake would take it right to the booth.
Yo, he went.
No, he didn't. Drake too light skinned to go right to the booth. At least that was the perception. But he got a little dark. When
you think about it, the light skinned dudes are the ones that'll jump bad with you because, like Joey already said, I got 70 bars waiting for him. Let him say my name in any response. I got 70 bars already written.
Dark skin thing. That's a Joe. That's an emo Joe need attention thing.
But Joe's a whole different beast though.
But Pete, there's some MCs that live for this, man. Could you imagine if Drake would have said the game's name? He would have had 5 tracks at his head already.
Oh, but the game would have flown to Toronto. Yeah, the game would have been in Toronto. You know, he would have made a whole mixtape. He would have had it would have been real problems.
But that's what I'm saying. There are some dudes that live for this.
Yeah, and to the point that I made the other day is that State Prop would have never stood for this. It is not because it's just how they're built. Yeah, but they're built from a different kind of
Twitter didn't exist in their era, and that was a good thing because you had to get on wax. That's the only way you could be heard. Now you can text somebody or tweet somebody or throw up an Instagram post, and that suffices. So it takes the place of actual rhyming, and that's the problem. People have been getting over for the last couple years without actually having to rhyme. So
yeah, and I brought that up earlier. And you know what, Phil? I brought that up earlier. I was like, this is not the first beef over the last couple years. This is the first time somebody jumped in the booth because cats beef. They go to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They take their beef to the internets, man. You know them them trigger figures turn to Twitter figures. But
and that's all Lifetime channel.
Yeah, it's definitely very Trez Vanny. Listen, what's going to happen is this though. Meek has already came out. I don't know if you saw it yet, but the response is supposed to drop tonight. And you know they posted. I don't know whether it's the first day or not, but the actual post says, you know, F the 6 in the click you claim. You know, that's what it said, and it says tonight. So I don't know if you saw that. But at this point, I don't even know, like what you said earlier, whether it's even like, you know, possible, because he was very Trez Vanny in the beginning, and you know. For those who don't get the war room slang, what Trez Vanny means, very sensitive. I'm interested to see that because the response dropped tonight, man. So I know your show is going to be off the chains this weekend because if the response drops, something tells me Drake already done his third song. So,
I said it yesterday, and I put this out there. He's going to do a song at OVO Fest called 3P. I'm putting it out there right now. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be called 3P. So you heard it when it happens.
Yeah.
You're going to know who told you. It's going to be called 3P. He's going to put it out there. He's going to do back-to-back, and then he's going to go right into the next joint. And it'll probably be a reply to whatever Meek says.
Yeah, I got a couple of last things before you get out of here, man. Like, first of all, I want to know, am I a terrible guy? Am I a terrible guy because I'm excited about MCs not liking each other?
No, this is what it's built on. This is the art. It's the art of battling. It's a gladiator sport. Hip hop by design is a gladiator sport. And
this is what it's supposed to be.
The meek, the weak get crushed, and that's how it's supposed to be. If you're not good enough to handle yourself in the skill and the art of battling, then step to the side. You know, kick rock.
Yeah.
You know, whatever analogy you want to use.
Phil, I made a point earlier, and I think, you know, Jimmy, this goes also to your point that the game has changed so much. Kendrick, you know, who obviously has good old heads in his ear and is cut from a 90s cloth. Kendrick sent shots at these dudes, his contemporaries, a couple of times. The most, you know, the one that stands out is Control. Of course, that Control verse was crazy. And no one responded. Meek, Drake, J. Cole, all them little dudes got on the phone and was texting each other and calling and saying, we don't want it. You know, we don't necessarily want to get into it with this guy. And in years past, there's no way that you could get on wax and mention your friend's name, let alone an enemy, and get away with it. Bars have to come back.
He said it's LeBron's fault.
It's
LeBron's fault. Ever since the decision where you're just clicking up with your homies and instead of battling with them, and you know only one of us is gonna get a ring, like that was the way it was done. You know, I'm gonna take my team and I'm gonna beat you, or I won't have a ring. I'm gonna take my team and beat you, or I won't have a ring.
You can laugh about it, kick it in the summertime and talk over the
I'll teach you about the ring that I won on you, you know, in the off season. But after the decision, everybody's buddies. You know, people decide which I'm from a Black Power perspective, I'm cool that LeBron making his own decisions and making Dan Gilbert pay and all that. But it's very clitoral, the things that's going on with
greatness.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's not there.
Phil, here's my last point, and something that I came to the realization with this whole Drake and Meek thing, right? Because one thing's being lost in this is the fact that it was claimed that you don't write your rhymes. We heard one reference track by the boy Quentin Miller. But what I realized, even listening to Quentin Miller's his bars and seeing Drake take the same exact bars, this just goes to show you that like everybody can't rap. Because Drake said some of the same stuff that he said, and it sounded so like when he said it, it sounded kind of corny, but like it shows you that delivery, stage presence, all these things matter because like even and here's another example. The boy Safari dropped a disc, which is one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. But in his flow and in all that, you can hear Nicki. I'm not saying he wrote for Nicki, but you definitely can hear it. But he sounded corny. So it was like, I'm not with the whole ghostwriter thing, but it just goes to show you that it takes a lot more to be an LMC than just like writing.
Hey Jim, I'm gonna ask you very politely. Can I cut just a little bit?
Go ahead. What's up?
If a trash can had an asshole, they would shit out that Safari song. That's the equivalent of that shit. That if they had the capability. It's not because it's worse than trash. It's worse than trash. It's future level,
it's garbage,
if you will. You know, so that's where we're at right now.
It was a little Michael Samish too. He was comparing they Johnson prints like a little real Michael Samish in his bars. But my point is saying that was anyway. My point in saying that was you can hear like Nicki's flow and stuff when he rap. Anytime you hear him rap, which I hope nobody ever has to, you can hear Nicki. But my point is, it just goes to show you that like having the delivery and the ability to style on the track actually holds some weight because the stuff on the Quentin Miller track versus Drake. Yeah, it definitely is, man. This goes to show you, man. But Phil, man, I know your show is going to be off the hook tomorrow, or I guess you can call it Saturday at 12 a.m., whatever you want to call it. But I know it's going to be crazy. Because it's going to be so much for you guys to talk about, including what comes tonight, man. So definitely check them out, Tissue and the Tape and the Dark Podcast on our network. Tissue and the Tape Podcast, WRSPN, man. You already know, man. Hey, man, salute. Thanks for the call, man. We definitely be tuned in, man. This is an excellent week for you guys.
Thank you, brothers. Excellent week for y'all. Excellent show. The best sports show in the world. I'll keep saying it until everybody listening.
No doubt.
Thank you, good brother. We appreciate it, man. Take it easy. You already know, man. Easy.
No doubt.
Yeah, that was the homie Phil Maddock from Tissue and the Tape Podcast, man. It's been a great week for them as a hip-hop podcast. We got the homie calling all the way from California. Rob, you are in the war room. What's really good?
Rob.
What's up, man? Y'all doing, man?
Rob,
we doing it how it's supposed to be done for TV.
You smoking that Cali, man? You sound real charged up.
You smoking that Kush or getting it twirling?
I did there.
I get high on life.
Charged
it's your boy Big Rob. It's your boy Big Rob, aka your angry fan, aka your favorite show, aka I don't need my wife to break up fights on the internet. But anyways,
Yo! You sent a shot out there. We got a shot at the homie Hank, man. We got a shot at Hank.
Rollerson. Hank. Big Bang Hank.
Hey, Rob, man. Listen, man. I think it was real petty when you started it, but I got to salute you for responding. Because I was like, all right, Rob ain't going to respond. And you went right back at him. So salute for the response, even though it was kind of petty that you started it. But salute for you anyway, man. And you called up talking more trash. So I got to give you you on your Drake joint right now. You ain't taking no prisoners, man.
Yeah, we encourage this type of behavior in the war room. Competition is what life is built on, man.
Yo, we are definitely petty.
I mean, it's just that we could talk. It has something to do with sports. It's just that Magic Johnson went to 9 NBA Finals. No, that's Bill Russell status. Hardly anybody does that. He was a several-time MVP, several-time All-Star, and the only thing he gets remembered for is having HIV.
Going to the Forum Club.
Hey, but listen though. Hey, I mean, Rob. Now to play devil's advocate. He and some will say this was the part of the conspiracy, but I'm not even gonna go there. He's the face of it. He made himself the face of it, in his words, to help others. So when someone associates him with that, that's what he wants. He made himself the face of that movement, and he got paid and compensated very well to make himself the face of that movement. You know what I'm saying? So on the one hand, I get what you're saying. No one brings that stuff up, I mean, you know, R. Kelly
Listen,
to this day makes the
we
best
gotta
R&B
give
music.
we gotta give our listeners some context. On our social media community, we posted a picture that contained 4 all-time greats. Michael Jordan, the best of them, Kobe Bryant, the second best of them, Magic Johnson, and then this little guy named LeBron. And the question posed to the community was, if one of them got to go, who got to go first? And so, you know, some people said Magic, some people said LeBron, you know, some others still said Kobe. And then, you know, you had those that were on Joke Time that didn't really believe and said Michael. So, you know, there's a case being made that Magic Johnson gets disrespected. Of all the 4 guys, he gets disrespected the most, as if he's not on par or on talent or on level with the other 3. And then it goes beyond basketball, and we talk about things that are away from the court, like him kissing Isaiah and going to the Fallen Club, having AIDS.
Let me go get more specifics. It wasn't even that Magic doesn't get. Here's what happened. Because first of all, you know, it was those. First of all, I'm tired of the whole one gotta go thing. Stop posting them things. They whack. But Magic being the best of all 4 of those guys, you know, and then probably Kobe, and then Michael, and then LeBron. But the thing is, Hank made a joke. He said Magic. He said he was going to say Magic, but now he'll say LeBron because like something about Magic beats everything, including AIDS. Rob got offended and was like, "Yo, he don't got AIDS," and he called him a Richard head, which was very petty. And then it went from there. They start roasting each other on our page, which was kind of funny to me. But at the end of the day, though, Rob, to your point about Magic being disrespected because of the HIV thing, Magic made himself. No one's a bigger Magic Johnson fan than me. Like he's literally my favorite athlete ever. He's a terrible father. And a terrible husband. But in terms of his contribution in the court or whatever, I'm the biggest Magic Johnson fan there is. But I also understand, in being a Magic Johnson stan, that, you know, he was well compensated to make himself the face of that whole thing. So you can't really fault no one for, you know, some people don't even. A lot of these people who are internet now have never seen him play. They don't know what it's like to watch Magic play. All they know about Magic is that he was the face of HIV. To this day, he still goes around speaking on.
He's got AIDS.
I mean, and I want to be honest because I'm thinking about a lot of this too. Would you say that Magic is a better, to me, entrepreneur than a Michael Jordan in terms
what
of
has
like?
He done? Can you tell me, Big Magic Johnson? What has he done?
Well, he's a business person.
He's got AIDS. Did he do any business? I like.
That's the greatest.
Donald Sterling, man. That was before Rob goes off. That was Donald Sterling. That was not us.
To answer your question, Rob, is he a better business person? So now we're taking it away from basketball. Is he a better business person than Mike? Possibly. I don't know whose business acumen is better, because I know some of the people that have done business with Magic, and I would say they're both gentlemen who are able to capitalize on their brand and kind of woo people in, but they're not looking over spreadsheets and financials and analyzing and making major decisions. They employ people for that, or they partner. More aptly, they partner with people for that. I think Magic is probably a better businessman in terms of organic growth. I just think that Michael Jordan had the blessing of probably one or two of the greatest deals ever. I think Michael's deal with Nike is one of the greatest things that goes down in the history, and that springboards him towards being a billionaire. I think Magic builds things better. I think he builds things, you know,
I got a perspective. I kind of agree with you, but I kind of disagree with you. His deal with Nike, one could argue that it's a good deal, but not a great deal, because he probably should have more equity than he has, just based upon what he personally did. For that
no. I agree with that, but it was still revolutionary time. So
because
now
some people
standards today, that deal probably wouldn't have happened that way. They would have gotten more out of Nike.
Listen to what I'm saying, because people don't understand where Nike was before Michael Jordan. People remember Nike post Mike. Nike wasn't even that popular before Mike. Yo, cats in the streets didn't wear Nikes. We wore Adidas back then. Nobody wore Nike. We wore Adidas. But listen, though, Rob, to your question, when I look at athletes and entertainers and rappers and movie stars and people say, well, he's a great businessman, I have a whole different perspective. I don't look at any of them as being great businessmen. I look at them as being, I would say, great leaders. Now, when I say leaders, it's context to that, too. B. Austin made the point that they hire people to do certain things that an average business person who's bringing himself up in the bootstraps wouldn't be able to do, but they put the right people around them. There's a talent to that too. Some of the best leaders have the ability to put great people around them to help them succeed. Would I call either one of them great businessmen? I don't know, because they had their personal brand to start with and building. And there's no shots because they have done something that most athletes aren't able to do, but because they were smart enough to put the right people around them. That's the key. When you see a lot of these athletes go broke, shout out to Vin Baker, it's because you have the wrong people around you. You surround yourself with the right people.
I agree with that.
You can make moves.
I agree with that 100%.
You know what I mean? So that to me, that's the genius in it. Some people always like to say, Jay-Z's such an amazing businessman. I don't know whether he's an amazing businessman, but I think he's smart enough to put the right people around him. It's a difference between that, being a leader and being a quote-unquote businessman. That's to answer your question. But Rob, we got another call to get to, man. We definitely appreciate it, man. Before we let you go, though, I have one question for you, man. What did you think about your man from well, according to his bio, he's from Venice Beach, but I doubt that too. What do you think about Hollywood Hulk Hogan, man?
First of all, I want to thank the wrestling community.
Speak up. We can't hear you.
Hello,
Rob. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now you can. What'd you say?
I just want to thank the wrestling community online, because if there's one group of people who would talk about thing about race and prejudice and institutional racism, it's the wrestling community. It's very unfortunate that it happened. I should say it happened. That to me, but I ain't go to my personal story, but it's very unfortunate that it happened. Now, it happened 8 years ago, and you just had the stuff that happened recently. To me, it's bigger than him. He needs to apologize to, I think, his fan base, because he owes it to everybody who put him over all these years and helped build his brand. He needs to apologize on behalf of them, because he's not just he's a wrestling icon. You know what I'm saying? He's up there.
But Rob, hold on though. Rob, I'm actually shocked by your response, because you're quick to go in on somebody, especially when it comes to issues of race. Because to me, it's beyond an apology. He didn't just say those things and they come out. He doubled down the next day, questioning why certain people can use the N-word and he can't. So he doubled down on his stupidity. So at this point, I don't even want to hear from you. Just go that away. In the words of Chris Rios, go that away. Go away.
He doubled down on it.
He doubled down. He hasn't really been that apologetic. He wants to know why he can't say it.
Oh, well, shoot. Well, there you go. I mean, to me, it's just, I don't want to say it like this, but it's just some some groups of people, it's just in their nature to be racist. I hate to say this, but it's just how it is. I mean,
we hear you. But Rob, man, thanks for the call, man. I enjoy the weather out there in Cali, man. Hit us back up next week. We'll definitely have some more stories to talk about. We always appreciate the support, good brother. Thank you.
All right, fire Chip Kelly. Peace.
We got another call, B. Austin. We got the homie Naeem calling in. Naeem, I know you want to talk about a lot of different things, good brother. What's good, Naeem?
Not much. I'm still laughing at the one guy talking about the trash can about Safari. That's still cracking me up.
That song was that terrible, man. That song was terrible.
What's up, B. Austin? How was the trip, brother?
Oh man.
Hello?
Oh man. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. They love the War Room over in West Africa. We're big in the ECOWAS.
Okay.
You know, hopefully we'll get a couple shows out of there, a couple stations going on. But yeah, we'll talk offline and off air about that. But brother, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, first you touched a subject that, you know, I mean, only reason why I'm entertaining this Meek Mill beef and Drake beef and other funny stuff going on instead of crying and going out here grabbing something out of my closet for the war that's going on black people. And people don't understand. If, a lot of people don't know is the Million Man March reunion coming up April the
October.
10th? No, October the 10th. I think a lot of brothers and sisters should go. They need to go. I'm not a fan of Farrakhan, but you need to go. Now, getting back to the entertaining, funny.
I'm a fan of Farrakhan, and don't tell me that you understand until you hear the man. And I actually had the privilege of being at the first one. I was a young boy, but I was definitely
I was at the first one too. Man, my dad made me go. I had no choice.
So, yeah, no doubt, man.
You know,
no doubt, man. Yeah, so
but into the beat,
I can't say I'm a fan of any particular man, but I do salute Al-Hajj, Malik Al-Sabaz, and some would say that there was a hand in his demise by the brother that you're speaking of. So, you know,
I don't believe that.
You know, Farrakhan has said some.
We could take that. We could take that debate offline because that ain't what happened. But you know, it's either here nor there.
That's I don't want to go in that conversation. Now with the Meek and the Drake thing, only thing I'm gonna tell you is this: I went to Miss Tootsie's yesterday, and I enjoyed myself. He put Miss Tootsie's back on the mat.
Did you get a back rub? Did you get a back rub?
Yeah, I did get a back rub. I asked my baby to back rub me. I mean, I had to feel it like that. He really put Miss Tootsie's back on the mat. I gotta salute him. You have to. It was lyrically. We all know lyrically Meek is not that great. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm from Philly. I love Meek. I respect him. But lyrically, he's not that great. But he can do great party songs and good hooks. But I think his pride is going to make him step back up. See, a person like Drake, you don't bother with Drake. You let like a Black Thought or a lyrical person mess with Drake. The grassy dude, you don't bother him. And I just understand his theory of thinking of going out there on a Twitter rant. Because like I said, in the era we came in, everything was on wax. There was no internet and going back and forth, screaming and all that stuff.
Yo, man, could you imagine? KRS-One would have been sending like ats to MC Shan, like, yo, at MC Shan, the bridge is over.
Yeah, the bridge is over. One of the best diss records of life. So I mean, I'm just waiting to see. And my man talking about Magic Johnson, I felt like checking Fred and Barbershop. You better not talk about Rosa Parks. What are you doing talking about Magic so bad for?
No, that was me. That was me pooping on Magic. I always take the time to poop on Magic, man.
But listen though,
come on, B.
No, B. Austin don't understand, man.
Jimmy's fault.
If you look at
it's Jimmy's fault.
If you look at
that
the players,
dude is overrated, cuz.
Listen though, how is he overrated? No one really even brings his name up at this point. But listen though, Naeem, here's the thing about it. If you look at the players that B. Austin champions and rides for, they're all gunners. So Magic Johnson is the polar opposite of the kind of player that B. Austin likes to watch play.
Let me ask you a question now. At the end of a game, what is the thing that they tally up?
At the end of the game, what they tally? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said, what do they tally up to determine the victor?
Okay, points and assists. And Magic, when he scored 40 points.
No, he's trying to make this game
points.
He's trying to make
yes,
this
they do tally up assists.
Simplistic.
They tally up assists. They tally up assists.
If you have more assists, if you have more assists than the other team, that doesn't mean you won. Do you tally up the points?
No, Naeem, listen to this though. He tries to make the game that simplistic, right? But then on the same token, he wants to poop on kickers when the highest scorers in the NFL every year, the top 5 are always kickers. The same guy who poops on kickers.
Two different sports.
But they still tally up points.
That's a terrible comparison.
No. It's not because in the NFL, what do they add up? What do they add up?
Oh, it's a terrible comparison.
What do they add up at the end of the game?
Terrible comparison.
Game? You're not answering my question.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you can hit a man that's 6'9".
The game isn't that simplistic. Magic Johnson literally has revolutionized the game of basketball.
Exactly. Only person that's 6'9". He came to Philadelphia single-handed beat them 82. Played all 5 years on the court.
But that's the end there. Like B. Austin would never root for a guy.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not even saying he's not great. I think he's a great player. I just think he's overrated because we ignore one of the things that I think people do is they ignore both sides of the ball. So for me, like my greats a lot of times I look at both sides of the ball and what they do, not just offensively and defensively. Now, the exception could be, okay, AI, you throw that out there. He's putrid on defense. But everybody else, I like gunners. I do like guys that score because that's what we add up. And I like guys that defend. Magic, maybe it's because he didn't have to defend. I mean, looking at the squads that he had, it wasn't always asked of him. But, you know, he just wasn't really a stalwart defensively. So I just, you know, that's just not my. I think
if you read Phil Jackson's, Pat Riley's books, rather,
if asked to play defense, and shut somebody down, not on the perimeter, I don't think he would have been capable. But we'll never know because he wasn't asked to. That wasn't a part of his game.
He was
clutch. He was clutch.
If you read Pat Riley's books, Pat Riley mentions that he never asked. He believed in team defense. There really was nobody on that Lakers team, even though they won all those championships, who was a lockdown one-on-one defender. Worthy was not a lockdown one-on-one defender.
Michael Cooper.
Magic wasn't. Michael
Cooper was a defensive specialist. He's a specialist.
He came off the bench. He
was
wasn't
definitely a lockdown.
Michael Cooper. But the thing is, even before he became a lockdown defender, that's not why he was on the team. He was on the team to spread the floor because he was also a three-point shooter. But
yeah, okay.
With that being said,
he was a 3-and-D guy.
If you look at the starting lineup on those Laker teams, they played team defense. No one was asked to actually defend. It was actually counterintuitive to the way they wanted to play the game. They wanted to get up and down, so they wanted more shots up. They never really wanted to lock any team down. They wanted to basically get away and force a shot up and go.
Outshoot and outscore.
Exactly. So a lot of it's strategic. My point in all that is, though, we don't think it is deep into it. We don't think it's deep into it. B. Austin will never like a guy who's not a shoot first guy. That's what it is. B. Austin loves gunners.
That's not true.
So I guess your favorite players.
I love Jason Kidd. Pause.
Jason Kidd would never come.
I've made the argument that Jason Kidd is the best point guard ever based on both sides of the ball.
That's because you.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Believe that.
Let me ask you a question.
You really believe that, B?
Defensively speaking, is Magic a better defender than Jason Kidd?
How would you know?
Huh? What?
I'll give him that.
But no, forget.
I'll give him that.
Forget that.
I'll give him that because you know why? You know why? You can ask Magic to go down low and defend people too. Jason Kidd can't do that.
Yo, Jason Kidd defended 4 positions.
He'll never be able to defend Moses. Magic defended Moses alone. And Doc.
Forget all that. Oh B. Austin, what you're telling me right now is they're coming out of college. Right now they're coming out of college. You're telling me you would draft Jason Kidd ahead of Magic Johnson?
No,
I
wouldn't.
Huh? You would?
I would not.
All right.
Anyway.
Let's not even engage in this, man, because B. Austin just talking trash, man.
You just a lick here, B. Austin.
Before we let you go. No, he's a Magic hater. We know that. Before we let you go, though, name, ask you another question. This is Lakers related. Kobe is saying that he's going to play like small and even power forward this season. Man, what you think about that?
Greatest Laker ever.
Small. He's not the greatest Laker ever. No.
Oh yeah,
not at all.
Right, Kareem. My fault. I didn't mean to disrespect Kareem like that.
Nah, Magic's the greatest Laker ever. Oh, Mary J. What?
I actually think that Kareem's a better basketball player, but Magic is the greatest Laker ever. Magic is
ever
the Lakers. Yeah, it's not even close. And the thing is, I think Kareem's a better basketball player, but Magic's the greatest Laker ever. Anyway, with that being said, what do you think about Kobe trying to stretch out his career?
You better leave that 4 alone.
Forward and possibly power.
Yeah, he can.
Now the small forward, he could do the small, but he would leave that 4 alone.
He's played the 3 before. Remember, we got real big, hit the weights, and got all like Jimmy Jackson. He could play.
They're saying based upon the roster the way it currently is, he may have to play a lot of 3. With the roster they currently have. So
he can play a 3. I like him. I like him at the 3 because I like the backcourt there with Clarkson and the new kid. I mean, I'm glad we didn't sign J.R. Smith. I don't like J. I knew that was a lie. I was making sure it wasn't coming to reality.
Like I brought that up earlier on the show because people didn't realize that the website was fugazi.
People don't like Earl, man. Earl got a lot of talent and ability.
What?
Earl disappeared in the finals, man. Like,
yeah, man. You catch Earl in the club trying to chase some chick, man. Come on, man.
Yo, LeBron wasn't passing the ball enough.
Oh, come on. I'm not even calling about crybaby LeBron.
Anyway, man, listen. Naeem, man, thanks for the call. We about to get out of
Thank
here
you,
soon. We got a couple
Naeem.
things to get to, but man, thanks for
Let's
the
get
call.
ready,
Thanks for the support
yeah.
as always, good brother. All right,
Let's get
peace,
ready
homie.
for that meat joint tonight. All right. Let's see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we gonna listen. Everybody that's talking trash now about me is definitely gonna listen though. So
Yeah,
regardless of whatever they
exactly.
want to say about him is, he's built up the anticipation where the whole world will be listening. So all right, now peace.
Down City.
All right, have a good one.
All right, now.
Austin, it goes to my earlier sentiment that even if it's just to get these jokes off and we want to slander him, he's gonna get what we say is the root of all evil. He's gonna get a lot of that.
Absolutely. We're going to.
So even if his track is trash, he's going to in his head think he still wins just based on the attention. And then you have some people that are going to praise him just for responding, regardless of what he says.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be.
I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I'm just telling you everything that's going to happen, man. There's a couple
we gotta
things
talk
that
about
I
this
have
NFL,
to,
man.
No, there's a couple things that I have to get to. We only got about 10. We ain't even got that many minutes. We got about 6, 7, 8 minutes left. But there's some things I have to get your opinion on. I'm interested to see what you say.
Okay.
And one of them
Rapid
is this:
fire,
is
rapid
Russell
fire.
Wilson. Is Russell Wilson? I want to hear your honest opinion on this. You think I rapid fire? Russell Wilson. He said he's going to shut down contract negotiation if he doesn't get a deal by tomorrow, and he actually says he thinks he should be the highest paid player in the NFL at about $25 million per season. What's your opinion?
There's three ways to look at this. So I'm gonna break it down in those three, and I'm gonna go quick. Number one, there's fair market value. Fair market value does not take into consideration necessarily how good he is. It does have to do with his performance, but not how good he is. Doesn't have to do with anything other than looking at other comparable quarterbacks who start and put up similar numbers and similar situations. If they are overpaid, grossly overpaid, then he has to be overpaid. So I understand where his agent and he are coming from. Look, if I'm sitting in his camp, if I'm in his ear, I'm looking at that young man and I'm saying, look, go and get your money. All that you possibly can, rob them. Get it. No problem. Then the second perspective is just because someone asked for it doesn't mean you have to give it to them. And the Patriots have shown the way to run a Super Bowl organization, right? Now, they are the exception to the rule, but you don't take and pay players and overvalue them because it hinders you and it hampers you long run with building that organization. They're paying attention to the salary cap. And 2 years ago, the salary cap was 123. In 2016, the salary cap is going to be 143 million. So, Russell Wilson's agents are looking at the salary cap saying, we want a large piece of that and we want to be paid more than Aaron Rodgers. Well, Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. I've been on record as saying, I don't believe he's elite. He's not top 8. But he is, I would say he's on that cusp of top 10 based on his decision making. He makes decent decisions. Sometimes he's a little scary out there. He's not going to wow you. He's never been asked to win it with his arm. My personal belief is that if you're going to be the top ranked or top paid quarterback or top paid anything in sports, you have to be able to deliver and compensate for other weaknesses. What does that mean? If that defense isn't holding teams to 17 points a game and teams are scoring 25, 30, 35 points, then you have to go out there and be able to throw the ball 50 times and get victories in that flawed manner. You have to be Peyton, Brady, Aaron Rodgers, all of those guys cover over weaknesses on their team, and that's why they're paid what they're paid. Russell Wilson throws the ball 17 times a game. That's literal. They run the ball 34 times. They pass 17. Now, he makes good decisions, but 17 attempts a game and 200 yards a game is not a $25 million quarterback. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, what you said is exactly right. There's like different types of value. But the thing is, like, part of me is like, you're crazy, like in terms of him. But then part of me is like, yo, I have no qualms about somebody asking for more than what they're worth.
No. Yo, go do it.
Half of the league.
I'm not mad at him.
Yo, matter of fact, I would say I would, and this is based on my research and statistics on Google. Actually, no, I'm lying. I'm just making this up on the top of my head, but I would say that 70% of the NBA is overpaid. Like, Yo,
I agree.
So the thing is, it's all about market value. It's all about what you can get to. Like he ain't supposed to go in there and sell himself short. Word to Ricky Williams and Master P, but $25 million a season for Russell Wilson. It is what it is. If he gets it, God bless him.
They paid Cam
God bless him. This is true, man. This is definitely true, man.
Listen, you know what his biggest qualm is, though? His biggest qualm isn't the per season; it's the guarantee. They're trying to only offer him $18 million guaranteed, which he has a problem.
Our phone lines are still lighting up. But whoever called, we apologize. We only got like 2 minutes left, so let's even go into that. I want to get your opinion on T.Y. Hilton. This is probably the same. Probably not the same response.
No,
he wants to deal in the same range as Des Bryant.
Yo, T.Y. Hilton, his hands aren't better than mine. He does run a lot faster than me. He's turned into a very good route runner. He is learning under Reggie Wayne has turned him into a technician with the route running. T.Y. Hilton is not a guy that commands a defense's attention. I will say that he can get doubled. They roll coverage over the top because of his elite speed. Come on, man. You can't get paid like Dez. Dez shouldn't be paid like Dez. T.Y. Hilton?
There you go.
Yo, T.Y. Hilton isn't top 10. T.Y. Hilton might not be a top 20 receiver. You think he's top 20? I can name 19 guys better than him.
I might say he's top 20. I wouldn't say he's
Jimmy.
top 10,
You can name
20.
19 guys better than Jimmy. I promise you, if you watch game film, you can name 19 guys better.
You're saying he's not top 20.
No,
we'll take this debate offline.
Yeah, we'll take this debate offline. He drops the ball a lot.
Because it's a gentleman. It's a gentleman. I gotta get your opinion on real quick before we got here, and that's Junior Gillette.
Yes, Junior.
Who's out of control, always in trouble with the law, what have you. But he took the Twitter and just went in on his team, his coach, certain players. He put out there the fact that his coach only has training camp certain places because the guy that you was there. He was dry snitching. He was wet snitching. My man was just going in. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the whole Meek and Drake thing. These dudes, man, in this generation, man, they got to take Twitter from some of you dudes, man. What do you think about Junior Gillette and his behavior, man?
Junior Gillette is like school on Sunday, no class. Not only does he not have class, he's not smart because he's damaging his brand and he's damaging his ability to make money at his chosen profession. Because now any organization that signs him understands the risks that he comes with. All of this on the heels of him signing a 4-year, $56 million contract, I believe. He is a top 5 linebacker in the NFL. Like, he's a baller. But if you're a GM, do you want to bring a cancer like that in? And here's the other thing: it's not just outside of the locker room and away from the field. It's actually reports that he is a bad teammate, like cancerous, and that manifests itself because he took a shot at the left tackle in his Twitter rant. Like, dude, you're not endearing yourself to other teams.
Listen, we gotta roll FOH because basically my whole point of him is like, who are you hurting by doing that? No one but yourself. You're coming off very Trez Vanny, and now you're not gonna get a gig. Last thing, real quick, B. Austin. Adrian Peterson says 2015 will be his best season. You believe him? Yes or no?
Best season, maybe, but not highest yards total. He will not get over 1,600 yards.
You are ready. Thanks for joining us again in the War Room, good people. Shout out to everybody who chimed in to holler at us. Tune in next week, same time, same place, live right here on demand on the WRS Podcast Network for more great sports talk. We'll talk NFL training camps and much more. So until then, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here next time. For those who are waiting on the phone to get on, we apologize we couldn't get to you. But be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook and Twitter, which are both at War Room Sports, Instagram at War Room Sports. Our podcast network, everything can be found at warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in that war against ignorance, and we shall see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like Magic in the box course. Listen live, push 1 to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Shot Back, B. Austin. I'm Chop. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.